All right, we're here at WWDC 2025, special annual podcast that we do. Let's talk to everybody here. We got Tech Me Out.
Yes.
How you feeling?
Feeling good.
Feeling
great.
good? Okay, we got a lot to talk about today.
Yes, we
Stephen Robles making his first appearance on Geared Up. First appearance at Apple Park.
It is, first time.
Correct?
Yes.
You having a good time?
I'm excited. It's been great. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And of course, one of the constants, Kevin, the Tech Ninja. How are you doing today?
Doing great, man. Happy to be here.
All right, we got a lot to talk about. Before we talk about it, it's like we got a whole new design language and everything. I want to talk about something that's very important, especially here on camera. We got a wide shot. I need your opinion. How's the length of my shorts? How is the length of my shorts today?
It's getting better.
Oh my God.
We have progress going in the right direction, but there is still some room for
You can
growth.
see my entire knees.
But you're sitting. When you stand, we need to be 7 inches or lower. 7 inches or higher, Drew.
7 inches higher. So, but you're a taller man than me.
I understand.
So you're saying I need like a 5.5 inch?
5.5 minimum, yeah.
Steven, how you feel about shorts?
Clearly not, usually. But I would do above the knee if I was going to wear shorts.
Thank
That's
you.
what gotta
Oh,
do.
above the knee.
1 inch above the knee.
Yeah,
I mean,
1
longer
inch above
shorts
the
are
knee.
coming back.
Thank you.
Oh, no, those
Thank
capris,
you.
right?
Yeah,
Those capris.
the capris are another story.
But it's not back, though. It's not back, yo. It's not back yet. Listen, the YNs, they're the first ones to do it. Then it takes a couple years for us millennials to do it. That's all.
How does it come back if you don't start it to come back?
You can start the
But
trend.
you never left.
Okay.
You never left.
Okay.
That's the problem. You look like you're part of a grunge band sometimes.
What would you
Oh my
recommend,
God.
like a man like Zach over there? A more chic guy? What kind?
Oh, five
what-
inches every day.
5 inches every day?
Chubbies.
Like he's out there about to go for a jog.
For sure. Oh, for
Okay.
sure. Outside of work, that's definitely what he's rocking.
Okay,
sure.
fair enough. Fair
You know,
enough.
In fact, there's a standard for you right now, Kevin, for shorts.
Yeah, he's the man. That's why I got to bring it up. I mean, listen, we got a wide shot here.
That
I have to ask the
part.
question. I have to respect the viewer.
Right. Now you
all
got to
right.
ask the audience.
That's right. Comment down below. How is my shorts length?
There you go.
In your personal opinion.
Good.
Speaking of design, let's talk about one of the major things here that happened at WWDC 25. The all new design across the board. Every single platform was touched: iOS, macOS, tvOS, watchOS, VisionOS. What am I missing? Steven, what am I? iPadOS.
iPad,
I got them
that's a
all.
big
I
one.
got them all.
That
Yeah, that was it.
Liquid glass. How are we feeling about liquid glass tonight?
I put it on a beta on a 16E,
Yes. Ooh.
and I made it's not the main device,
Right.
But I made all the app icons, the liquid design, and I was kind of digging it, honestly. But I just love the intentionality, like every swipe, camera app when you go between like photo and video, seeing the shimmer. Initial impression, I'm down for it.
You're
I
liking
like
it.
I do like it.
You're liking it, Kevin.
Yes.
How you feeling about this?
Yeah, I'm a bigger fan of the animations. Like there's like a lot of subtle animations, like animations between animations, like when you're moving things around and how things kind of expand as you move the bubble around, if you will. Because it's like an actual bubble. Like when you use
Right.
the cursor, it's a real bubble with text expands through it. It's like the little things in my opinion. I'm more of a flat design type of guy. But
Are you?
Yeah, I kind of like flat. I know flat's been around for a while. It's kind of time to change it up.
See?
This looks way more friendly though. It's very friendly. Like it looks approachable. It looks fun. So I totally get it. And it feels like, iOS in general is moving to like customization routes, and it feels like the friendly, bubbly approach. Like it kind of has that same look to it. So I totally understand it. And the animations are great. I'm a big fan of just like fluid, clean animations and transitions between different screens. Like
Yeah.
Steven said, as you swipe, you can like really feel it swiping. It's not like a jank move over. Like, you
Right,
can really
right.
feel it moving over.
That's actually a great point because obviously you see a lot of people online, whether they're trying to make jokes or maybe they're being serious. I don't know. They keep comparing it to Windows Vista, and it's like Windows Vista, while it did use like that glass translucency look, didn't have any like nothing else. Like that's the
Right.
only thing that like
course,
compares. There was
yeah.
none of the everything that you just said of the swiping and the translucent and the what do you call it, the bubble?
It's like,
Yeah,
it feels like
around,
it feels like a bubble. It feels like you always have a bubble on your finger,
Little
as
viscosity.
You move, as you move around.
little viscosity,
That's a
right?
good word. I would also say it feels whimsical, and that's always when I think of Apple when it does good
does.
design, like whimsy in the
Yep.
animations. And if you think back to like Aqua in back of old school Mac, it just if he has that vibe, I like it.
Yeah.
Right.
I like the attention to detail with it. Like there's little things that you notice as you're navigating, like y'all are both saying. But like on the lock screen, I know I was basically testing out how the clock was, and
Yep.
you could see like the light fractions on the actual
Yes.
time that was shown. So like if you tilt the device a certain way, you can see just the light
Like the
hitting
light
it at a
source.
certain angle. Yeah,
Right.
exactly. So that was really nice. I really like that aspect. And then how you can also see through the menu bars that come up, so you can see your background a bit more. So it just makes things feel more full screen, or taking advantage of the full screen actually, because you don't have a menu blocking things as you once did.
Right,
So
right.
It's nice.
The one thing I think they do need to maybe update over the betas is if you go up to the app library, like on your iPhone, and swipe down Control Center, it does look a little busy because you have like all these app icons plus the Control Center. I think they just increase the blur like on the background, like you almost do with the
more
wallpaper.
frosted or something.
Yeah.
Frosted or something, and then I think we're good to go.
Yeah, and we've seen in the past, like beta 1 is not indicative of what we're going to see 2.5, 3 months later. So it will change over time. Did you install it on anything?
I
personally?
did.
You
I did
What do you
install
got
it,
on?
but I have it on currently an iPhone 15.
Okay.
But I haven't had a chance to really play with it.
Yep.
So it's more so been in the briefings that I've had the hands-on experience so far. But I'm excited to try it out, like at home, and get more in depth with it.
Right.
To see the other
Right.
little things that I noticed that might have not been shared or overlooked.
For sure,
So,
for sure.
yeah.
And then Kevin, you said you installed it on 16E.
Because I want to do some shortcuts actions.
Okay,
So,
of course,
I made a video about that,
naturally,
yeah.
naturally.
Okay.
You installed it nowhere.
I'm working on it for the iPad.
iPad. It
did
says
not put
17
it on
hours
it.
left.
Yeah, 17. So I cannot wait for tomorrow morning. I'm looking so forward
Right.
to it.
You would think when you're at Apple Park
It's like Christmas Eve.
that you would have
Oh my gosh.
really nice internet speeds. No.
Well, I actually got one of the Ethernet things that are in the Cafe Max,
Yep.
and I plugged it into the iPhone because
Yep.
the 16E, the USB-C, and
That's
it,
smart.
it went from like 12 hours to like 20 minutes. That
Oh,
was-
okay. See, I was on Wi-Fi and it said I had like 2 hours, and I plugged into the Ethernet and it went up to 3 days.
Oh wow.
So I just took that
That's not
right
even
back
how it's
out.
supposed to work.
Took
it
that
took
right
me
back
maybe
out.
like an hour or two, but I was on Wi-Fi
Yeah.
and
Okay.
charging. So
All right, let's switch topics real quick because I coming into this WWDC, I've been telling people I was cautiously optimistic. I went to Google I/O a couple weeks ago, watched that keynote, and was sitting there thinking, "Wow, like, how does a company like Apple respond to all this? Because this is really impressive." So, Apple Intelligence had a bunch of different things announced yesterday. I want to get a read for how you guys are feeling about it this year. Obviously, they started by saying the things they were working on last year that got delayed. They're still working on that and needs a little more time. But they did give us some new things in the various softwares. So how are you feeling about Apple Intelligence kind of like round 2 this year?
I'm optimistic because of the developer story, and I think I forget the name of it. The model frameworks that they announced right at the beginning of the keynote. I think it actually got applause from developers, and most people at home might not know what that is. But Apple's giving developers the ability to access the on-device LLMs in their apps.
Right.
And so while we might not see Apple's voice assistant change much in the next few months, I do think we might see a lot of third-party apps using more AI features, and that might be more the story this fall, is look at what you can do with LLMs in the apps, obviously shortcuts, but I'm excited to see what developers do with it.
So like Apple allowing or not
Right.
allowing, like giving developers the ability to add AI into their apps so
Right.
that if you have an iPhone, you have access to a wealth of apps, whether they're from Apple or otherwise,
Right.
that are AI powered.
Right, because Google Gemini, cool, I can't work under these conditions. Something
Our clock fell. Our clock fell over here.
That means you get another hour. That's what that means. But Google Gemini is Google, and that
Yep.
might work great for that. But you never hear the third-party app story from
Right.
what is Gemini going to do in that. And so that's why I think Apple can differentiate here, and we might get a great AI story this fall.
How about you, Kevin? What you feeling?
Yeah, I'm very wait and see at this moment.
Wait and see.
Yeah.
Very- I'm very wait and see at this moment.
Okay.
With it. So I mean, but what Steven mentioned as far as the ability for developers to kind of tap into that a little bit. So I think we're gonna start seeing our favorite apps just get like little random updates, and just like not many people are gonna know it's Apple Intelligence, but just having like
Right.
added features that taps into that. And I think like the best technology is technology that you don't know you're using, and
sure.
things get better.
sure.
So I definitely think things will get better. But as far as it like as a whole and like this whole like game changing idea of it, I'm still very like wait and see. But I do think things will get better in the background though, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was feeling, so again, going back to I/O, right? Google announced like just a wealth of AI features that were very impressive. Things like image generation and even VO, where you can make these videos that just look incredibly realistic, right? But I was thinking about it, and it's like those are something that when you see them, they visually look super impressive. But when you get home and you get in front of it, like the computer, it's like, well, what do I need a clip? Like, what should I? It's like,
Yeah.
it looks cool, but it's not gonna help me. It doesn't really affect my life. What we saw yesterday. Let me pull my list up real quick here. Things like visual intelligence from a screenshot, right? Like, what's on my screen? Select it, add it to my calendar. This might sound not impressive, but like, you can be on a web page, pull up the share sheet, and just add stuff to your reminders. It'll use Apple Intelligence to scan the web page and find, oh, this is a recipe. So what they want to be reminded of is like what to buy at the store, or this is a packing list. So what they want to be reminded of is like what they should do when they're packing for a trip. So it like kind of scans and then adds it to your reminders app, and then it sorts the reminders into different categories all in one step. Like, I feel like that may not be as impressive as creating a video from a prompt, but that would actually help make my life easier.
Yeah,
So-
usefulness.
Yes.
Like, for me with that, I'll say I liked when they did a screenshot and showed how it could grab a calendar event and then automatically prompt you to add it to your calendar.
Right.
Like you were saying, you can
Right.
scribble over something and then search the web for it. So it's things that make your life better and easier. But similar to Kevin, I'm wait and see, because I know I was very excited about Apple Intelligence when it was previously announced.
Last year.
Yeah, right. And so it was a little disheartening or disappointing to not get all those features that were announced when the software update rolled out. Because I think, sorry, I keep hitting his mic. I think a lot of people were looking for that, myself included.
Yeah.
So that's something that I'm also hoping for, that the features that were shared actually roll out on launch day. So
Yes.
time will tell.
I think the difference is like these features that I'm talking about now are less, I don't know what the right word
Flashy.
Yeah.
is. Flashy. Like, it's not even the flashiness. It's like to get Siri to recognize what's in your email, what's in your calendar, what's in your, history, all these different areas, and pull it all together and then give you the right answer is way more difficult than like, circle to search or whatever you want to call it.
Well, I think that's the big deal is Apple Intelligence can really work on your data, whereas like Gemini might be good with the outside. One of the demos I got just today, where if you dump a bunch of files onto your desktop, Apple Intelligence can actually look at the content inside the files and then automatically move them into folders to organize them for you. Not just the title of the document, but like the actual content.
What is in there, yeah.
And that's, again, something that the advantage that Apple Intelligence has with your data. It's on your device. Your model is right there.
And I know you're going to be all over that. I expect to see Steve. If you don't know Steve, follow this man. He's going to show you how to use all the new shortcuts actions with Apple Intelligence. The other thing, one thing I didn't think I would ever be, I don't know, excitement might be too strong a word, but I'm looking forward to trying, is the new Image Playground, or what they've added to the Image Playground. Image Playground has kind of been, it feels like something you would maybe give to like an 8-year-old on their iPad just to like distract them. Like when we go into an Apple briefing for a new iPad and they're like, hey, let's spend 20 minutes talking about how Image Playground can go into your Final Cut project. I'm like, what?
Right.
Who do you think we're... Anyway, but now they've added ChatGPT into there.
Right.
So you can use OpenAI's image generator, which is very good. And they're also allowing you to like add in expressions. So like my biggest complaint last year, well, one of them, was I could not get Image Playground to make me do anything other than have like this big cheesy smile. Nothing. No, even if I put like Andrew super upset, anything, he comes back with just this big smile, right? So now you can add in using emoji. Here's a picture of me, and then here's an emoji of like, I don't know, this dude crying.
Yeah.
Combine them, and then you actually get what you're looking for.
I liked it.
So yeah, again, it's still Image Playground. It's not like revolutionary.
But you can also use the existing emojis,
Yes.
and put them
Combine
together.
them.
Combine them. So that's something that I like because it takes some of the guesswork out of what I want.
Yes.
It kind of helps you figure out what you need in that moment to express yourself. So I think I'll play with that aspect more of it.
How's Genmoji been going for you guys over the past
I haven't
year?
used it too much.
No. I mean, I was going to say Image Playgrounds. I really tried hard to get it to make an image of me riding a polar bear in Image Playgrounds.
Okay.
And they refused, like, because it doesn't want to show like a full torso, I guess. Image Playgrounds would just do like neck up. So it would put the polar bear like on my shoulder or whatever. So I'm going to try it again with iOS 26. We'll see. It was weird.
Incredible.
Yeah, but no, Genmoji, I've made one and never again.
I did get it to show my torso, but what it did was it had me on the floor with my torso, no legs. like I was just crawling, and it had a third arm coming out of my side.
So okay.
So just
That's weekend Andrew. Okay.
hey, that's
cool.
that's playground for you. Genmoji. We use Genmoji in the group chat.
We do use it for hazing each other.
Yeah, we just use it for making fun of.
Like we make fun of each other by making like Genmojis of each other.
That's pretty good.
You know,
That's really
that's about the premise
So
of
what
it.
kind of stuff you do? Like, what do you
Yeah, that's
combine?
what I was
What do you
about
tell
to
us?
ask.
You try. What do you make? Never mind.
This is Gear Live After Dark. You know what I mean? This is dark mode. We can talk
It'll
about
let you
during
do-
dark mode.
Genmoji let you do
We'll
that?
just leave that to the minds.
I'm a little etchy. I'm a little sketchy. I can't talk about it too much.
Listen,
Knowing Kevin.
exactly. But I think I was way more excited about it last year than using it in practice on a daily basis. Because it takes like you're having a conversation, then you have to like stop and like think about how do I describe, and then swipe through, and it's like, well, I don't have the time or the mental bandwidth. Anyway, let's move on. iOS. That's the big one, right? iOS 26. Besides the liquid glass design, iOS 26. I want to get a feel for what you guys are excited about there. On your iPhone, the phone you have in your pocket on a daily basis, did anything stand out to you as I can't wait to get this, or finally this is coming? I know we all had that with the iPad, which we'll talk about in a little bit.
I think call screening is going to be big. And, this is something Android people say, like, we've had it for years. But call screening is going to be a big deal, the hold assist. And that's something like my mom and everybody's grandma, like those kinds of features, I think will hit a wide audience, and will be the quality of life improvements that make it feel worthwhile.
Back to practicality.
Right.
Yeah.
And the messages updates, I think people, I learned not only can you do polls in group chats, but you can also do a poll just one-on-one. And so I guess if you and your spouse trying to figure out where to eat, just send your spouse a poll. Be like, all right, you decide.
Hey, which one? It'll work. You answer first.
Yeah, exactly.
I had a fun element.
Yeah. But it's fun, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for Steven said the exact same thing as far as the phone features, right?
The call screening.
For sure. Oh, for sure.
screen.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, that, and then yeah.
Message background?
Obviously, yeah. I mean, fine.
Message backgrounds?
I mean, I don't look forward to it, to be honest. Like, it's fine. It's fun. And then typing notifications in group chats. I mean, it's bringing like a lot of the chat services apps like WhatsApp and stuff, bringing it to natively to your phone. So you don't have like a downgraded experience when you go to like WhatsApp or Telegram, because there's a lot of cool features that has that can get updated every single day. Like they can push out an update whenever they want. Where iMessage typically it waits to a new service update. Yeah. So you get to see those same features kind of coming in. So I don't know, for me, I feel like this is like some years is very under the hood. You don't see much, but a lot of stuff changes. Then you have a year of just like a total redesign. So I feel like it's a total redesign with like a lot of cool features, but I don't think there's any like, besides the phone stuff, not like a home run feature for iOS.
Interesting.
In my opinion.
Preview app. Home run.
Oh yeah, you're right about that. Preview.
Yeah.
Signing those contracts.
That part.
It's going to save me $60 a year.
Come on.
It's going to save me $60 a year. Yeah.
Similar to what they said, call screening.
Wow.
That one.
How old are we all? We're just like,
The thing though is,
calls.
the thing that did it for me though is the fact that it allows you to actually text back to the person when they call.
Yeah.
So you
Right.
can interact with them. It's not just...
And it'll read it to them.
Exactly. And even when you go to your phone app and you look at your call log, you can see, what was left when you see their name in your call log.
Yes.
So it was that for me, the phone app in general as well, with the new interface and having your favorites at the top. I love that.
I was going to ask about that.
Yeah.
So you don't think that's going to be similar to last year when they redesigned the Photos app and everybody was like, what the heck did you do with the Photos app?
Now, I was one of those. Because when the Photos app was introduced last year, I was excited.
Yep.
And then I started using it and I started finding myself having issues getting to what I need.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, I need the old layout back. Because it was just a little too cluttered, I guess, for me. I couldn't quite get it the way that I wanted.
Yeah.
I didn't hate it, but I wasn't as in love with it as I was originally when it was announced.
Okay.
So I feel like this go around, it's a nice median of what it was in terms of before the update and then after the update of iOS 18.
Okay. But you think the phone app is not going to have the same pushback, even though, because it is a pretty dramatic, although you can, right at the top right, you can say, just give me the old interface right back.
It looks like messages too. But
a lot of people use their phone app as their contacts app. A lot of times when I'll say like, they go to pull up a contact, they just open the phone. And so I think Apple knows that's probably a common use case. And I think people will actually like it.
yeah.
Yeah, when is the last time you opened the Contacts app?
I mean,
That's true. At one point I deleted it.
You can delete the contacts app. You can delete it.
you can delete everything. Yeah.
That's great.
You can delete the App Store. I don't know how you get it back.
Really?
Yeah.
can delete
I
the
haven't
App
deleted
Store.
the App Store.
Game over. It's just game
I
over.
deleted
at that point.
contacts.
Real time fact check. I don't know.
But I
That's
brought
crazy.
it back. I needed it after a while.
Okay.
I will say the live translation features are also pretty
That's
incredible.
what I was gonna
Yeah,
say.
that
yeah.
was
That's
too.
pretty
It
cool.
looks amazing.
The music app.
That looks really good.
It really does,
You're gonna
especially
sing?
on the lock
You're
screen.
gonna do that karaoke with the Apple TV. Use your phone.
I may, but
on.
I definitely
definitely
like the
will.
visuals
on,
on
you
the
would.
lock screen.
You know me, man.
The
That's true.
lock screen
Yeah.
music
Don't
is
hurt your
really
knee.
good.
That is.
Yeah, the lock screen full music. Yeah.
One more thing, the camera app.
Oh yeah.
You know,
The camera app is interesting.
It is. It is.
because I feel like it's really more of a simplification of the camera app. Because right now, as it stands, you have all the features at the bottom. Most people are like, I think Apple's like, most people are either taking a photo or shooting a video.
Yep.
So now you have those two options, photo or video. And then at the top, you can just change your, those quick settings. But if you need to get to anything else, you can just swipe over. And all the icons now have text that tell you
Right.
what they are. Like, because right now you see the different icons for like
Night mode.
live photo. It's like just three circles. My
So
grandma
now it
has
says it.
no clue what those things mean. But if it's specifically said, she might not know what live photo
She
means.
still doesn't know what it means.
But-
Still doesn't know what
Hey,
it means.
hey, no,
but-
my grandma does know. She knows. I'm there, I'm there for her. I'm there
Come
for
on,
her.
Grandma.
Come on.
I'm excited to test it out because it's similar to everything else we've been talking about. It's nice in theory, but you never know until you actually are using it day to day. Similar to
correct.
other things that were announced. But I'm excited to see how it is when you swipe up on the option that you're trying to use, like if you're using photo or video, to then see the options for that. Like, am I gonna like that better? I feel like I would though, because it puts it more at your fingertips.
Right,
so.
right.
One thing is interesting. They didn't mention the camera control button at all.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like I feel like not that
I
they're
didn't
going
even think
not that they're
about
going
that.
away from it, but it feels like they took the feedback that not a lot of people are using it. So they didn't even talk about how it interacted with it. They didn't show it in a demo
yeah.
or anything.
that is
It's
interesting.
funny because it's not even a part of visual intelligence screenshot.
Yeah,
Right.
It's just
not.
it's just normal screenshot.
Right.
Yeah,
control.
that
That's
is
interesting.
not
That's
at
interesting.
all. Yeah.
Because it could have been,
Yeah, they didn't
an
say anything-
action
they didn't
for
say
that.
anything
That's
at all.
true. Yeah.
Double
Yeah.
click. or something.
Right, because when they did the action button 2 years ago, last year they added more to the action button.
Right.
This year we didn't see anything added or changed about the camera control. It's still there. It's not like you're going to
For
go
sure.
away from
Yeah,
it.
it's
It's
not,
there.
it doesn't disappear. Yeah.
But nothing new with it.
yeah.
And like we were saying, you never know what may come down the pipeline
sure.
as you know it's getting updated. So time will tell.
All right, let's move on. iPad. iPad OS.
Yes, I second the
iPad
applause
OS.
on that.
Stole the show.
What's interesting is when it was Craig, when he was announcing, he was like, "We know you guys have been waiting for this for so long. Why did you give us all these other things then in between? If you knew,
Gotta perfect
if
it.
you knew,
Yeah,
on.
same for the calculator. He said the exact same thing for the
right?
calculator
We
as
had,
well.
we had to wait 12 years.
We gotta wait.
to make sure. During the keynote, they were going through, iOS and macOS and all these, and I'm like, why are they leaving the iPad? What's going on? No way you're gonna end on iPadOS. That's weird. And then we got basically, what would be considered as macOS without actually going all the way to macOS, right? The main features of a power user using multiple apps at once is now finally coming in for the iPad, including things like if you're using Final Cut and you go to export, you can leave the app and go do something else, and it'll keep exporting.
didn't know that.
Because right now it
export in the
stops.
background. Yeah.
Oh wow,
stuff.
You gotta
that's
leave it.
nice.
Yeah.
So how'd you guys feel? As you were watching, I want to get a feel for like, if you could take yourself back to when you're watching the announcements as they're happening, what was going through your mind?
I was hoping this would end the conversation about macOS on iPad. Because if someone was wanting that for these kinds of features,
Yep.
the windowing, I think this answers that question. And with the updates to the actual Files app, which is so powerful now, not only the column view, but open with, you got more options for files. I was just like, I think this, I would think satisfies most people who are wanting macOS. This should do it. And I'd be curious of what other wants they would have.
And we also have a mouse cursor now. And
Yes.
not just
Pointer.
little,
A
That's
pointer.
a big
Pointer.
one.
Yeah,
Pointer.
not just a little circle.
Yes.
Actual pointer. And also something that's really cool is that it doesn't leave people behind who still just wants the iPad experience.
That's true.
Because it behaves as normal until you
That's
grab
true.
it from the side, and then you kind of enter a different realm of possibility at that point. And then like you have these gestures too where you can like throw a window to the side, and then
Yep.
it does this. So you still have like iPad-like freedom and playfulness, if you will.
Yeah.
But then you still have the productivity of having like 6 windows open at one time and moving files between the two.
Yeah,
I'm pumped.
And
I'm
the
super
way
pumped.
that
Same.
the apps kind of fluidly can, you can have like 4 apps at once and have them like manage your window styles, 3 side by side, 2 side by side. All of those things now seem way easier than like right now. I don't know how to get into slide over and pop in. What are they all called? Slide over, pop up. You know what I'm talking about. There's all these different ways.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
different,
It's like,
It
I don't
is, though.
know how to do all that. And
Yeah,
now
yeah.
it looks like it's way more approachable. The other thing I would say, though, the way those windows were being managed on an iPad made it very obvious how a potential Apple foldable might work in your hand. Let me put 3 apps side by side, 4 apps up and down. Like, just the window management there kind of almost told the story of what maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe 1 year from now we come back here.
Right. Have a
Maybe.
whole nother conversation.
Yep. What were you thinking? Okay, you're sitting there.
Okay.
Oops. You're sitting there. You see them announcing this for the iPad. What's going through your mind?
I was excited for the changes. To me, it feels like we were saying, or y'all were saying earlier, in terms of it feeling like a lighter version of the Mac, or helps those that have been wanting more of a Mac-like experience on the iPad. Like, I like the menu bar and the stoplight, for in the corner to either minimize or close the window. Things like that are nice touches that I do miss from my Mac when I'm on my iPad. So I like the merge that they're bringing between the two.
Here's the thing that I think the one thing people might want that they're not getting here, which also applies to Vision Pro in a way, when they were like, this is the future of computing, right? It's spatial. The Mac is the only platform where you can just install whatever you want, right? The iPad, everything comes to the App Store. It has to be approved by Apple. Vision Pro, everything has to be approved by Apple from the App Store. You can't just say, I made this app, go to my website and buy it and download the installer. The Mac is the only place where you can do that.
And the iPad is still hindered by like utilities. And I think of Clipboard Manager, which we now have clipboard history on the Mac, but like the iPad still can't do that.
Right.
And you can't install a Clipboard Manager. They added in audio input control, which I've been wanting for a long time on iPad.
I'm sure.
But you can't have an app like Audio Hijack on the iPad where you can do
Yes.
like multiple audio routing. So I think the Mac still has its place for those reasons. But yeah.
Does the Mac, would you say the Mac artificially has its place because that's just where it's allowed? Like, these things could be, if they were allowed elsewhere. You know what I'm saying?
I still think Apple, and like when I think about the iPad, it's a tablet. What do you want to do with a tablet? And if your use case for the tablet, like I edit my audio podcasts on iPad because I prefer that form factor.
Sure.
And I think form factor is the thing. Like, do you want to use an iPad in a studio setup with multiple cameras, a video switcher, and all that kind of stuff? Probably not. But you would use a Mac in that situation. So I think
You never use Final Cut cameras with that Final Cut on the iPad, it sounds like.
I've tried it, and I mean, I think they're doing it actually right here.
They're doing it here.
Yeah, and like it's awesome that it works. But again, like if someone who's doing that kind of work, either professionally or pro-consumery, they're going to want the Mac, the ports, the utilities. You're going to install Isotope to do audio stuff, and so I think that's why it's still a different platform.
I got you. Okay. Any other thoughts on the iPad? The status bar. We've got a status bar now. Is that what it's called?
yeah.
Wait, no, menu bar.
the
Sorry,
menu bar.
At the top.
Menu bar,
menu
not the
bar at the
status
top.
bar.
I did see in a demo, if you have 2 apps side by side, you can pull down the menu bar, but it's only active for whatever app is in the forefront.
Okay.
And it does kind of have like a weird like overlay across the windows. So the menu bar is full screen. It's not like the menu bar is just on half of the screen with the one app.
Right.
It goes full screen across both apps. And
Like a Mac would do. Because the Mac always has the menu bar at the top no matter what you're doing.
right, but the app windows don't go into it. You can't drag it. Right.
Cool.
That's what I'm saying.
I
On the
see.
iPad, like the actual app windows are underneath the menu bar on the iPad.
I see.
And that might be a change that happens in later betas.
Okay.
They fix that.
VisionOS. I got to talk about this real quick. Did any of you have the VisionOS briefing here?
No.
Okay.
I have not.
All right. I had the VisionOS briefing earlier today. I'm a big VisionOS fan, big VisionOS advocate, connoisseur.
You are.
Everything, every word, positive word you can say about it, that's me. I love it. VisionOS 3 was announced. I got to try it out today. First of all, the personas
It's crazy.
ridiculous.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Did it look like you?
No, not only did it look like me, it looked like I was looking at me.
Oh,
like,
wow.
Like He's a digital persona right now. We didn't even know. This is a persona.
What I'm saying,
Spider-Man meme.
Right.
like what I was telling Kevin earlier is like, you might not realize this, but you never get to see yourself in 3D ever.
That is
like if you look at yourself in a photo or in the mirror, you're looking at a 2D version of yourself. Only other people get to see you in 3D. This was me looking at myself in 3D for like the first time.
How did it feel?
It was so weird.
Yeah.
It captures your skin tone. It captures obviously what you look like. It captures like the hairs and the eyelashes.
What?
Like it looks like a digital version of literally you, 3D in real space. Really cool.
What do you think that would be useful in? Like you're thinking like,
so it's going to be useful. Useful is a maybe too strong. I mean,
Sure.
useful, I don't know.
Sure.
But when you're in a FaceTime call using Vision Pro, again, if this is one of the platforms of the future and more people adopt it over time, maybe as prices go down and more people are using them for things like Zoom calls or FaceTiming, you want something that's more accurate. And it's way less of the uncanny valley feeling to it. It really does look good. But for me, one of my main complaints with the Vision Pro was that if you're using it with someone who's in the same room with you, because you have to like do a FaceTime call or share play session with it's like, but you're right here. So now I'm hearing your real voice and your through the Vision Pro phone call voice. Now they've basically fixed that. It's still a share play session, but it knows you're in the same room. And so if you want to watch something with somebody and you want to go into an environment, now you have their digital version right next to you.
oh, I didn't realize that.
I didn't either.
And you could be like sitting over there on the other side, or you could be upstairs, right? It's like, hey, let's watch whatever. And you'll appear right here next to me on the couch. And I can just look to my left and there you are. And there I am.
That's crazy.
The other cool thing, which is not on the personas, but when you're sharing a session, you each have your own real life view. And what I mean by that is they brought in a 3D model of, I think it was Neil Armstrong in his spacesuit. So they just put it right there. So I'm looking at it this way and I see his face, and the guy sitting here in his Vision Pro sees him from the side. And if I turn it towards him, now we're both
crazy.
seeing it like we're both, you know what I mean? We don't have the same view of it. We have a real life view of what we're working on, which we didn't have before either.
That's wild.
Yeah.
It is really cool. The Jupiter environment. First of all, again, Zach's right here. I need to listen. I was if we're going to go from VisionOS 2 to 26, we're going to 24 versions. I want a whole new page of environments, please. Yeah. But we got one announced. Maybe there'll be more.
All right.
Maybe there'll be more. Okay. Jupiter. You go in and you turn this thing on, and you're like standing on one of Jupiter's moons, looking at Jupiter in front of you, and Apple worked with NASA to get this like accurate, because apparently Jupiter, like the big red, what is it called? The red eye or the red spot or whatever it's called.
The
big red spot. This like moves around like quickly. Like the way I would liken it to is like if someone does a time lapse of the sky over time, you see the clouds moving. That's just what Jupiter looks like all day. It's just like has everything like it's crazy. So you're just looking at this thing and you can slow it down or speed it up. So there's a whole control panel in this environment. This is the first environment that's interactive.
Shoot.
You can make it day, night, and it will through the day. So if you had the time to put it on and then go to Jupiter, Jupiter has a 10-hour orbit. So if you sat there for 10 hours, you would experience morning to night. It's a dynamic.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Yes, and it'll also teach you about Jupiter in there. So it's really cool. I would love to see more of these environments that take you somewhere where it's almost like you're in the environment, but you're also in a museum experience, kind of, because it's teaching you what's going on in here. My big feature request still for Apple is let me get some indoor environments.
Yeah.
Give me like a ski lodge.
That's true.
Give me a library.
Fireplace going on.
Why can't I use LiDAR on my phone and like scan my actual office or scan my house and then have that as a virtual environment?
Bro.
And then we can put in some widgets.
Put in some widgets.
Transition.
There you go.
Yes.
I did try some widgets.
Did you?
The widgets were impressive.
That's cool.
Here's the thing. like they said, you can place the widgets, right? They'll auto snap to a wall or to a door or whatever. It will remember where they are, even after rebooting.
That's cool.
And they can be like, you can have some widgets up in your bedroom, have widgets in your kitchen, have just all across the house, widgets everywhere. There has to be some sort of limit to how many you can do.
But I'm curious with the reboot, if you set everything, turn it off, go somewhere else, like another house, and turn it on.
Or something.
Yeah, like what happens then? Does it place them like in the same kind of XYZ axis space, thinking you're in that place?
Yeah.
I don't know. You can't try that in the demo. I'm just curious how that works.
Zach, how's that work?
He's on Jupiter right now. He's on Jupiter.
He's Googling it right now.
That's a great question. I'm making assumptions here now, but I mean, when they say it'll remember, I think it would be a poor experience if it then all of a sudden doesn't remember. So maybe it's location based.
Location based. That's true.
But I walked into a room where there were, I want to say, a dozen widgets. Okay. Safari was on the wall. There was clocks. There was music, like a music poster that as you walk up to it, you can see more information about the album. And as you walk away, it's just the music, like the art of the music. Cool. You just pinch it and it starts playing music. You walk over, you make a window out of all your panoramas.
What about the weather window? Did you see that?
I saw the weather window, which was cool, but the more impressive one was use one of your panorama photos as a window. Oh. And then when you're away from it, you can see out the window at the photo. But as you walk up to the window, you see more of the panorama. Look outside, turn to your left, turn to your right. So cool.
What about the clock widget? I don't know. It's a simple thing, but that's something that I really like.
What about it? What do you want to know about it?
Cool.
It told the time.
That was it? Okay, I didn't know.
What else you wanted to do?
I don't know if you walk up on it, you could do alarms or something. Like all these other things have these other features when you walk up on them. So I'm like,
sorry, Jovina. It doesn't make you on time, unfortunately.
Okay. You know what? We're not going to go there.
Wow. Listen. No, they may very well do that, or there may be an alarm clock widget. Separate.
True.
There may be one of those too.
Interesting. Okay.
What was the other thing I did in there? Oh, spatial browsing, which is interesting. Like, I think last year there was a lot of discussion about if spatial is the future, what's that going to look like for websites? Websites can't stay inside of a window anymore, if that's, again, where we're going. And this was interesting. So it feels like a mixture of Apple's reader feature, where you can like strip away all the ads, and it just shows you the text of a website. And then anytime it got to a photo in an article, it would change it into a spatial scene. So as you're scrolling through the text and then you get to, let's say, a recipe, you get to the cake or whatever, it would change that into a spatial scene, and you can look inside and move your head around. I'm still confused about the difference between a spatial scene and a spatial photo. Do you know? I feel like you might know.
Spatial photo is something you actually capture as a spatial photo. Spatial scene is taking, I think, a 2D photo you might just have and making it into a spatial scene.
But it's still different than... You have a Vision Pro, right?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, so you know how you can take a 2D photo and change it into...
Right.
That is different than a spatial scene.
Okay, I don't know the difference.
Okay, so yeah,
Zach?
spatial scene takes... spatial scene. You got the 2D...
Okay.
We got to get another
2D
chair
photo, I feel like it... The spatial scene feels like it gives it way more depth. Like you can jump in.
I do want to say, when you were talking about the website, though, it would be amazing as like news outlets and other people have immersive video content, like with the Blackmagic immersive camera, that if you're browsing a website and you come across an embedded video, but it's an immersive video. And so in Vision Pro, you can actually click play and all of a sudden you're immersed in whatever the news story, like that would be next level browsing. Like I would put on the Vision Pro more often if that was something you could just experience. That's cool. But anyway.
I think the last thing I did was use the 3D video feature. So basically, if you have a X5, Insta360 X5 or X4, and you record a 360-degree video, the Vision Pro can play it back where you are inside, basically in the center of the 360-degree video. So you look up, down, left, right, behind you, video everywhere. Which
is more than immersive, because immersive video is like 180.
Yeah, it's just 180. Right. Like this I was going to say, it's like the first time you can stand inside and like turn any direction and see video playing.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
How does it compare to like immersive content, like from Apple?
Well, so I only did, I want to say, 2 clips that were maybe 20 to 30 seconds each. So as it pertains to like fidelity, I don't know that I can compare because one of them was very static. It was just standing and we're just watching like waves come in on a dock. Then the other one was the complete opposite where I'm like jumping off a mountain, like ski snowing. And it's like, this is too intense for me to like, how are the pixels? Like, you know what I mean? It was just like,
Right. But did it feel as immersive as like immersive
oh, it
videos?
felt more.
Oh, yeah,
because,
some more.
Yeah, because sometimes when you're watching immersive, which I love the format, but if you turn a little just too much to your left or right, you hit the dark.
Yeah.
And now it's like, it doesn't matter. Like no matter where you look, something's happening. Just like in real life, literally. In real life, no matter where you look, things are moving and things are happening. And that was the only time I've ever experienced that same feeling, not in real life, where I'm in a device looking at a video.
What platforms can you watch that kind of 360 content on? Like, because YouTube doesn't have an app yet.
Right.
So where?
So the two clips I watched were in Files, the Files app. So it was video that was either just captured raw and put in there, or that you edited a 360-degree video.
Gotcha.
But my understanding, what I asked was, can developers put this into their apps? And the answer was yes. There will be tools.
Okay.
So they will just need to integrate it themselves.
Gotcha.
So maybe, Red Bull might be one where the Red Bull app is full of those kinds of,
That'd be huge.
what do you call those kinds of sports?
Esport or X Games?
X Games style, crazy sports. So apps like that, we might be able to see.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Because that also bring a wave of content that makes Apple Vision Pro worthwhile. Because, it was all on Apple to create immersive content up till now.
Yes.
But now 360-degree video can be more democratized. That's awesome.
Right. And we're going to see more too. More people are going to be doing immersive besides Apple very shortly. In fact,
You breaking news right now?
hey, there's a trailer right now, Canal Plus, that's going to show you there's an immersive trailer because they're making a video in immersive. It's called MotoGP, and it was shot in Paris. So what's interesting is if you live over there in Paris, you can pay to watch it, but if you live anywhere else, it's free.
Interesting.
Like sports blackouts.
Yeah, and it's good, but it's the first immersive content not made by Apple. So these cameras are out there now, and so slowly but surely, I think we'll be seeing more of this format coming out.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, let's see, where's we at? We got 12 minutes. All right, let's go to the Mac. Let's go back to the Mac. It was so information dense yesterday that I felt like the Mac had stuff, but it was kind of overshadowed by all the other platforms.
Yeah.
Was there anything that kind of stuck out to you for the Mac? I'll tell you right now, I felt like Liquid Glass on the Mac looked the best out of everything.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
So I finally understood today in a demo, like the control center on Mac, the customizability is basically what you have on iPhone and iPad. So you can add controls, third-party apps can have controls you put in that control center. You can even create multiple groups up in the menu bar for controls. So someone like me who does shortcuts, now I can have multiple little control center folders of shortcuts in the menu bar. So that was awesome. And Spotlight is huge.
That was the one.
Spotlight is a huge deal.
Yeah.
One quick tidbit on that. So you have clipboard history now.
Yep.
I did find out in a demo, it's time-based, not clip-based. So the clipboard history goes back 8 hours. It does not save like the past 100 or 500. And so that's because I was wondering, I've used third-party clipboard managers forever.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, maybe I'll use the built-in one. But for me, I want the past 500 clippings because I want to search. I want to be able to search that clipboard history.
Right.
So it is an 8-hour time thing, not a clippings. So I think there's still room for third-party apps who make clipboard managers. I think they're still safer now for power users and stuff. But the quick keys, being able to quickly like send a message and email all from Spotlight. And I saw a demo today. Sorry, I get excited when I talk about shortcuts and Spotlight. But you can run a shortcut from Spotlight. But if you have a shortcut that requires an input, so let's say you want to input a PDF, you use Apple Intelligence to look at the content and get a summary. You can literally Command Space, type in the shortcut name, and if you have a file selected in the Finder, just a Finder window open on your Mac, that will automatically be put as the shortcut input while you're typing in Spotlight. And you can select multiple files. Like in the demo today, like let's say you have a Finder window, 5 PDFs. Select all 5, Command Space, start typing my shortcut, enter. I get a summary of all of those PDFs immediately. And you don't have to like select files. You don't have to drag and drop. It just automatically knows because those files were selected in a Finder window, it'll run a shortcut.
Okay.
Pumped.
Okay.
I am pumped.
Kevin, you nodded your head too when he said that. What
sure,
do you
yeah.
use for? Do you use like a spotlight replacement? right now? What do you
I use
Raycast?
Raycast. Yeah.
Okay.
I use Raycast.
What do you use it for?
Everything. I feel like I'm in a terminal and just using keyboard shortcuts for everything. I don't use the mouse.
Really?
Like I don't go to Launchpad. I don't do anything. Like I literally use Raycast for everything. Like if I'm doing a ChatGPT query that I don't need to do multiple inputs,
Yeah.
I use Raycast for that. I use that to do quick searches, like instead of opening Safari, Command T, I go to Raycast, type it in there, and then it'll pop open Safari in like a small window, and then I
Okay.
can put it in my Safari if I need it.
Right.
I mean, I have like 50 plugins for it. So
Jeez,
yeah,
you're a power user.
Raycast is great, and it's just like once you start learning it, and once you start learning like the keyboard shortcuts, I mean, you can really navigate your computer without using a mouse, and it's just like you become a power user. I mean, he's way more advanced than I am in any of this space, but I can get around and kind of do things with my workflow that's really great. But once you have integration to like a first party tool, you're always going to have deeper things that a third party tool would never have
Sure,
access to.
sure. Right.
So day one, maybe not. Maybe I can't switch over all the way, or maybe it'll be something where I just don't disable all the way, and I'm kind of in both. But I think eventually it will catch up, and then these third-party apps would have to figure out something to make it different or make it better or provide a different solution that Spotlight cannot. But
Sure.
Spotlight is like nibbing on his heels already with just this announcement.
Yeah, I was. The thing for me is sometimes I forget that there's a new functionality because like every day I sit at my computer and I kind of do the same stuff, right? Like
I get it.
I have my whole routine. Remembering that, now I can do this other stuff. Well, now I have to figure out how to do it. Can it do this? Can it do that? Maybe it can, maybe it can't. So then it's like I'm in the middle of what I'm working on. I don't have time to stop and learn this. I wonder how many people are going to see the new Spotlight and be like, I can do all this stuff now, as opposed to I'm just going to use it to open my apps because I don't know what else I can do with it.
With that logic, you would be riding horses still. Because you didn't know what a car could do.
When have I ever rode a horse?
Because you didn't. I'm saying
I don't know if that made
humans.
sense.
I'm saying
I'm
humans.
not
Hold
sure
on.
that made sense.
Work with me here. If no one, if no one ever wanted anything, different in life, there'll always be like there never. Like things would never move forward. You know what I mean?
Yes.
There's something there's a wrinkle to your day every day that you've added. Every single day you've done something a little bit different, and that equates to something big over the course of years.
I get you.
Like you using AI now. Like you didn't 4 years ago you weren't doing that, but that is part of your everyday workflow. So the point I'm getting at is that maybe you'll find a new feature, maybe do a spotlight search and something else pops up, or you do a typo like, I could do that.
Yeah.
Or like searching for files, you could be more confident knowing that Spotlight can do a better job at searching for files or searching for folders and things like that.
Accidental discoveries.
Let me explain to you what I meant.
All right.
A little bit.
Okay.
I met an Apple employee yesterday who did not know Spotlight existed until 3 weeks ago.
Don't snitch on.
Okay, I'm not saying I'm just saying like Microsoft Word, for example. We all know what Microsoft Word does, right? You open it, you type a document, but in the header where like all those features are, there's like 300 things you can do that 95% of people don't even know what they are. That's what I'm saying. It's more like I know how to use Word, or Excel, but I don't know how to do all the advanced stuff, and I don't know how to learn how to do the advanced stuff. So I'm curious how easy this will be to kind of integrate into your life. What do you think of the Mac?
I love the updates that are coming to the Mac, like custom folders.
You were excited about that.
Because that's something that I actually was trying to do prior to this, or was doing, but I stopped because it was too much work to get them the way that I wanted it to be. So the fact that now it's just integrated in the system, it's really easy to change. And on top of that, we can now add emojis to it on the cover of the folder. So I feel like visually it's going to help me find things faster, which is why I wanted to color code in the beginning. So I'm excited, I think, maybe the most for that. Because I feel like that's something I'm going to use.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it actually integrates with tags. So if you
that is true.
Color a bunch of folders red, then the red tag is just that.
And there's live activities now.
Yeah.
As
that's
well.
very cool.
So,
Yes.
That's very cool.
And I think the automatic sorting too, like based off what's in the file. So if you have a bunch of PDFs and they're all the same type of PDF, you can have it automatically sort into a folder based off the content in the PDF.
That's
Yeah,
the
that's what he was talking about. Yeah.
See, you're talking about the shortcut that he was talking about earlier.
This is non-shortcut version of that. That would do the same thing. So let's say you have a bunch of PDFs that are like health reports, whatever.
Yep.
You can have it sort all your health reports into one folder automatically based off the content in the PDF, not just the name of it too.
I will say, to your discoverability point,
Yep.
one of the rumors before DubDub was that shortcuts would get natural language requests.
I was disappointed it did not.
And
go
I was,
on.
because I think that would have opened it up to more people where you could say, oh, I could just type in organize my desktop files
Yes.
automatically. But that's not that simple. You do have to understand the steps, which is great for me because that means I can make a bunch of videos about it.
Right,
Right.
right,
But
right.
it means more people are not going to take advantage of those features because it's not accessible.
Yeah, and that's kind of you can use Apple Intelligence in your shortcuts as a step. So like, hey, look at these PDFs, and then you can have a step that tells Apple Intelligence, figure out if this is this, or this, and then put it here. But you can't use Apple Intelligence to say, build me a shortcut that sorts my files, and then hit enter, and then it makes a shortcut for you. That's what I was hoping we would see.
Right.
That would be nice.
Maybe ChatGPT can do that for you then instead.
It probably can.
Give you the step-by-step
probably
instructions.
Well, it's funny 'cause you were
grab
talking-
his videos and then start
Exactly.
learn off your videos on how to use ChatGPT.
Well, it's interesting. You were talking about Raycast and use ChatGPT with Raycast. With the Apple Intelligence shortcut action, you can actually call ChatGPT through that. So technically, you can use Spotlight stock with ChatGPT to do prompts automatically. And so, anyway, it's cool stuff.
Yeah, that is.
All right, let me ask you this. The four of us here, I'm going to assume, if we are in a relationship, we are probably the tech person in that relationship or in the household. Even if we go to a friend's house, we are probably that tech person. If you look at everyone in the house, what feature, anything, out of everything, could you look at and say the non-tech person in my life, they will appreciate this the most? Maybe it might not be Spotlight because that might be the too techie. What would you say, like maybe like your spouse would look at across the board and say, that's what I'm most excited about?
That's a really good question. I don't know. Music is popping to me right now. 'Cause
Okay.
I know that's something we both love and constantly playing music in the house. So I personally feel like she might like that. I'm not going to say the most, but a lot in terms of the cover art that we see on our lock screen.
Yep.
What was the other thing? The interface. But
The karaoke?
yeah, the karaoke. But that's the thing that's coming to mind now, and maybe some of the updates and messages.
Okay.
Like group chats. I know we have a group chat with her sisters, and so being able to see typing indicators when someone's typing in the group chat, and also being able to customize backgrounds. I think that's going to be a good thing as well for someone that may not be as into tech as we are, kind of thing.
I think it's hold assist. I think of my mom. She'll tell me sometimes I had to wait on hold for like 2 hours the other day, and like that feature alone,
true.
the first time she uses it, it'll be like, this is amazing. So
Yeah.
I'm excited for that.
Okay.
Yeah, kind of double off that. The phone screening.
Phone screening, yep.
But nothing beats the FaceTime with the screen sharing, and you can like circle stuff. You can John Madden someone else's. Like with my mom, I'm like, Mom, do you not see this
Wait,
icon?
wait.
Yes, you can FaceTime screen share.
Yeah, you can do that.
On iPhone, yeah. I could take over my mom's iPhone and
But
help
that's
her.
already been there.
I know, but I'm saying nothing will ever beat that. I'm
Oh,
just,
no,
I'm just
okay,
saying
okay,
in
okay,
general.
okay.
Take over her iPhone from your
Yeah.
phone? Is that what you're
Yes.
saying?
Yes, you can.
Yes, you can.
iPad to iPhone.
I told mom, I was like,
I
Mom,
knew on Mac,
yes,
but I didn't
no,
know
on
you-
phone, yeah, on iPhone.
That was iOS 17.
I do it all
or
the
18.
time. I do it all the time.
You're going to have to show me that.
It's
Yeah.
amazing.
Okay,
I
Mom.
didn't know
Okay,
that. I
Mom,
didn't know
get
that was a thing. Hey, I'm just saying, I did not know. I knew from the Mac and messages,
Yeah.
but
And-
not from the phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. No, yeah, you could just you tap on when you're in the FaceTime.
That's-
Just tap on share, and then you can share your screen,
I
or
knew
you can
about that.
request to share
Yeah.
theirs, and then you can ask to take control.
Yeah.
That's
So,
always going to be
yeah.
that's always the champ. Nothing is ever going to beat that for
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Okay.
100%.
I like that.
Now I just cheated, and I texted my fiance to get the answer.
Yeah.
Again, she does no
Oh,
tech, but she's not like the techie person.
Yeah.
And she said the multi-windowing on iPad, being able to use an iPad and not just have the whole full screen experience, but actually use it kind of like your Mac. So I think that may be
She sounds like a power user, in my opinion.
a little bit, but not all the way.
That sounds powerful.
But it is pretty
It's a
powerful.
little
It is pretty powerful.
powerful.
But
Yeah.
I think it's interesting because when I got that response, it made me realize just how impressive that was visually to anyone. We've been waiting for it, but even if you're just an iPad user and you may not even thought you wanted this, when you saw it, you were probably like, oh, wow, I need that too.
Yeah.
So that's it. That's us.
Yeah.
WWDC 2025. Thanks for watching as always.
Yes.